motorcycle is whatever you want to make it. Turn it on, you can give yourself a real thrill.
What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the RacerRed channel. I'm riding in Cambridge, Idaho today. It's right around 60 degrees and everything is really wet. The trail is perfect and the traction is amazing right here. This is one of the harder trails up there, and Cambridge just has a way of throwing you off no matter what trail you're on, just because the rock is just placed in random areas and none of it is embedded rock just about, so anything you hit is going to roll out from under you and throw you to the side. So it's a pretty difficult place to ride for the most part and keep a good pace up. But as you can see, at some points on my phone on the handlebars, I have Onyx maps now, and that's what I've pretty much decided to use for my GPS. It has a lot of really good features. I think it's $30 per year for the upgraded version, but you can use the free version as well. Right now I'm just using the free version, but it seems to be one of the better maps that I've seen, because you can track your course and it has like a breadcrumb type deal. It has a lot of good features on it, so that's the one I've decided to use. The bike is running pretty good. It seems to be a little bit off. I mean, it runs decently throughout the rev range, but I think I'm getting a lean condition on the very bottom, and I think I'm running slightly rich in the mid-range. It's just not driving up through the mid-range like it should, and the initial throttle is a little bit off, so it's been a little bit funky. I have put the FMF gnarly exhaust on there, so that kind of changes things around quite a bit as far as the jetting, and it switches where the power is in the power band. So far I like it, it's just I really need to get this thing running crisp from the bottom all the way up to the top, which, I mean, as you can hear, it runs pretty good, but it's just lacking that initial throttle response. Cambridge ranges from around, I would say up in the mountains here, it ranges from 3,500 all the way up to 7,500 feet. Cambridge is one of those places that can climb really fast. So I think if you go to the peak of Cuddy Mountain, you're right at maybe just below 7,500 feet, but you're quite a bit up there. So that range in elevation can really make your bike run funky. And that's one of the reasons why I've been heavily considering a different carburetor. For one, I'm just tired of kind of chasing down and trying to figure out what's going on with the bike. So I've been thinking about going with a Smart Carb 2 or maybe Electron carb, but we'll see. It's pretty expensive to get either one of those. I think the Smart Carb is like $700, and if I remember right, the Electron is like $500. During this ride back to the truck, I kept a pretty decent pace, pretty fast pace. It's honestly nice once in a while to just ride on your own and get away from the city and explore out here. I mean, yeah, if something went wrong, there's a little bit higher risk factor, but also the reward is worth it for sure, just because of the ability to get away and get out into nature and get away from the cities. It's very, very nice. It's nice to just breathe the mountain air. There's definitely a difference between breathing this air and even where I live, which is out in the country anyways, pretty much, but yeah, it's still a huge difference. You can smell all the pine and all the wildflowers. There's a big difference as far as air quality. It seems to be a crispness in the air. It's hard to explain, but you can definitely tell in this video too that there's a lot of moisture in the air, and the cameras tend to get pretty fogged up when that happens. So there's really no avoiding it. It gives you kind of that blurry look around everything where the light hits, but it's kind of unavoidable depending on where you're at. These are some of the tighter switchbacks that I know about. And this goes back to what I was saying about that rock. Just there's all kinds of like baseball-sized rocks, and they're not implanted or embedded. So when you hit them, it literally knocks your front tire all the way off the trail. So you have to really pay attention to where you're placing your front tire the entire ride. Be precise as you can, because if you don't and you just run into whatever is on the trail, it will likely throw you off the trail at some point here in Cambridge. It's a very difficult area to ride. Like in Idaho City, you'll see me just kind of go as fast as I feel like, and you don't see the front end of the bike flying all over the place. Here in Cambridge, I really try to point the front end exactly where I want it on the trail. So I'm always throwing it from side to side. This is the only place that I've ridden that's really like that. But this is why I love riding enduro right here. I mean, you can get so secluded so fast. This would take you hours on foot. And granted, it goes back to riding solo. It's a little bit more dangerous, because if I did have a breakdown, it would take me quite a while to walk out of here. Actually, a long time ago, about a year ago, I flew my drone back into Stoley Meadows area, and it wasn't very far down the trail, and it got stuck like in a tree. So I went back the next day thinking I would hike in there, and it wasn't very far in, so I figured, oh, it'll probably take me maybe 20 minutes of hiking. Well, I just started jogging after a while, and it still took me an hour to get back in there. So you don't realize how far back into these trails you really are until you don't have wheels under you. So it is pretty dangerous. But again, I carry a cell phone, and generally I can get service if I really need to, if I climb to one of the peaks. And of course, I do carry some basics on my backpack as well, like a lighter and water filtration. Water filtration is one of the most important ones. Here in Idaho, you can almost always find water, but finding good water is the trouble, so having a water filter is a really, really good idea. This riding area is really close to my house, so I'm going to be exploring more and more. It's got a lot more trail than I expected, so I'm going to be coming back and exploring a lot of these trails out. And there's actually a bunch of hiking trails as well, so I'm going to be exploring those as well. Should be a pretty fun year. I'd like to get a lot of this area explored pretty early on in the year before I start going up to McCall and Cascade and those kind of areas, and maybe even up further north. I would like to go to Gold Creek Lodge at some point this year. I don't know if I will make it. Gold Creek Lodge, if you guys haven't heard of it, it's basically made for off-road enthusiasts, and they've got everything set up for off-road riders. It's really amazing. And they have a website, so you guys should definitely check it out. I just learned about it last year, so I went on there and looked it up. It's really interesting. I think it's like $200 a night too, which isn't too bad considering what it is. But yeah, Gold Creek Lodge, you can get to different lakes, a lot of different single track, a lot of technical stuff. There's just a lot of variety in that area, so I definitely want to go check it out. I would also like to go ride up north and hang out around the Sawtooths too. There's trails all over Idaho, so I've explored a lot around my area, but I haven't even scratched the surface yet. Here I'm going to try to jump over this fat tree and get stuck. If you notice, I landed on that stick and it stopped my forward momentum, made me go to the side. Super smooth. Anyways guys, I will catch you on the next ride. Peace.